feel you watching me. Pull up across the room. I think you like the view. You gonna make a move. I don't make this easy for you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Good Luck Sis. I'm your host Ellie.
And I'm your host Tati J.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Good Luck Sis. We have another great episode for you guys. Make sure that you guys are subscribing, liking, and commenting. And you guys know that you guys are always free to, send us DMs and just, chat with us and tell us what you think about the episode.
I know, and we love to give advice too.
Yeah, so we're giving advice. We're gonna be your life coaches.
Don't blame us when it goes wrong.
Don't blame us.
Yeah.
We're still new.
We're not licensed.
Yeah, we're not licensed. For this episode, Tati and I, over the years, for those who don't know, had started this podcast about 4 years ago. So when we were 24, right?
Yeah, 3.5. Oh, yeah,
almost 3.5. Yeah, almost 4 years. And over the 4 years, so much has happened. So today's episode is just a reflection on Tati and I's path to now. We're both 28 years old. What have we achieved so far? What are our next goals in life? And just to reflect back on our growth overall, as not only working on the podcast, but also working on ourselves and our goals and achievements.
Yep.
So for those who don't know, when Tati and I started the podcast, our first couple of episodes, I think it was episode 3 or episode 4, we gave each other goals that we wanted each other to achieve. I don't know. Do you remember the goals?
I don't remember the goals, but I can say a goal that you've accomplished. You just become more open and less, not scared, but yet scared of what others may think.
Right.
So I think that's something I don't know if that was a goal, but that's something you've accomplished over the years.
Yeah. So I think that was one of the goals. I think we each gave each other goals. So I think your goal was that I needed to be more vulnerable. So I guess open.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. And I've been vulnerable. And I think one of my goals for you is for you to tap into your creativity. But originally, when I said creativity, I didn't know it was poetry it was going to be. I thought it was going to be her art.
I haven't touched a paintbrush in how long?
She was going to paint because in college, I found out that Tati painted. And I was so shocked. I was like, what? You paint, girl?
Yeah.
And then she had showed me one of her paintings, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. So I wanted her to get back into it. But not only did our girl over she is a poet. Yes. Tati J.
Yes.
Tati J is out here. She's getting booked back to back.
Yes.
So
yes.
Tati has things that are planned. I know that when this episode has already come out, Tati has already performed in various different
because I don't even know. We don't know when this episode is coming out, but it's July. We're in July now, and I have 3 performances booked for the summer. Hopefully more to come, you know. But and that's my goal for this year was to have 5 performances, and then by the end of the last one it'll be 5, and that's only going to be in August. So. Right,
and I remember when you told me that you were looking the beginning of the year, you're like, hey, I want to have at least 5 good, performance, and then it was just back to back, back to back. So it's just amazing. You really tapped into your creativity, and not only is she doing that, but she also has her page.
Yes, Tati's testimony.
You have Tati using iMovie.
I'm trying.
Tati's trying, but she's doing great. But that's a step into being creative.
Yeah, because 4 years ago, I would have never thought this is where I would be creative wise. So here we are.
So proud of you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna do a little icebreaker. So what is something that you have done so far that you're extremely proud of? That you are extremely proud of?
Just in life in general?
Yeah. What is something that you have done?
So I feel like people would want me to say, oh, it's my my master's degree, which is great. Love it. I accomplished that. Yeah. But I honestly think it is the creativity part, because I feel like for a long time, I was always so sheltered in myself. And I feel like the podcast has definitely, boom. For people, when I always say, I'm not confident, or I'm an introvert, or I'm shy, I definitely was more of that. But it's through the podcast and just through me becoming more confident in myself, I'm definitely a lot more open and charismatic. My personality has grown. And I think through the poetry, it allows people to see this podcast and the poetry allows people to see a deeper side of me,
Right.
And a creative side of me. And it's like, oh, she's just not, for me, being a nurse practitioner, that's not enough. And I've always said, like, is it my passion? I don't know, but is it part of my purpose? Yes. But the podcast, the poetry, that's like my passion. So I think being able to tap into that fully. And then, like you said, just the fact that I have 3 bookings for the summer from people I don't really know, like, or if I've met them, it's been through either the podcast or my poetry, and they see something in me like, oh yeah, I want her. Yeah. I want her. Like, that's just so weird to me and so exciting. Like, oh my goodness, I don't know you.
But when you put yourself out there and others see it,
exactly,
they're like, okay, I want that girl.
Exactly.
And that's gonna be like, this is when you have at least 5 bookings.
Yeah.
By December, you can already be booked for 10 bookings.
I know. So it's just a boom, boom, boom. And it's like, y'all, I'm not going to say them out, but Ellie knows this and my close friends know this, that one of my goals this year was to be booked. Like, I'm paying you this amount to do this. And the amount that I said was the amount that I got.
Right.
So I think that also, like, not saying you want validation from others, but I think also as humans, we do need to understand that, like, when you see your talent, it's great. But when other people who are not so close to you, who don't necessarily like owe you, oh, you're my best friend, you're a good girl. Like, you know what I mean? When someone who doesn't necessarily owe you that sees that and is willing to pay for that or book you for that or just give you exposure, it's like, okay.
They see the talent.
I'm doing it. Yeah. Like, all right. So I'm proud of that.
Okay, awesome. For me, something that I've done so far that I'm extremely proud of is that I'm really proud that I took the step and I moved.
Period. Because if you didn't say that, I was going to interrupt you and say that.
For those who don't know, I moved to Dallas, Texas. Let's see. September of 2022. So we're recording in July. So around this time, exactly this day, the day before, I came here in 2022. And I saw an apartment, fell in love with it, and I was like, I'm moving. Made the decision right there. A little on and off, like, am I really doing this? Came back to Boston, finally made my decision that I was going to move. And it has been the best decision of my life. I think God really guided me to make that decision. And I really felt like it was the next step in my life. I always felt that I was not going to be in Boston for a long time. I still feel like this is not my last like place to be. I feel like we might, when I'm saying we, I'm thinking of me and my fiance. I'm thinking that our next step, our next home is going to be somewhere else. But as of right now, being in Dallas has like brought me so much opportunities. This year, I was able to purchase my first home.
That's the first time you said that on the podcast. Yeah, she's a homeowner and a fiance.
Okay. So that was just a great achievement. That achievement wasn't only one thing I've been saying, and I want to do is that I want to remove my achievements from like my parents and like my friends. Like I want to have my own achievements, and having a home. For those who don't know, like Tati knows this, I have expressed how much I want to have rental properties and also have my first home. So originally I wanted to move here to start looking into rental properties that I was going to have for myself. But when I got here and I saw the opportunity to actually purchase a home for myself, and you know, my generation, this is the home that I'm going to build a family in. I was just like, wow, I'm going to take the opportunity and just buy my first home. And it's been great. I love it. It's a big step, you know, it's expensive, but I've learned so much along the way, and it's a great opportunity. And I'm just grateful that God has put me in this place and has given me the opportunity to do this. So that's like my greatest achievement. I like sit in this house. You know the thing when they say like when you only had money for the down payment, I only had the money for the down payment. Because there's nothing in the house. But we thank God though.
We thank God.
So that's one of my achievements, and I'm so proud.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Number 2, what is one thing you learned so far that you would share with your 24-year-old self?
I would say that people see you. And I think, like I said before, I was just a little bit more like afraid to be fully myself, always thinking like I'm too much. And I may be too much for some people, but like I'm too much, or like I'm gonna be too loud, I'm gonna be too this, I'm gonna be too that. And it's just like, oh no, so just relax and just be you and just like be yourself. And I want to say like one of the reasons I feel like that is just because I don't know. I honestly, so I went to an all girls high school. Loved it. Loved that experience. But I also think that stifled me so much with knowing how to talk to guys, not even just like like friend wise, like, and then like I said, when I was in college, I was in a long-term relationship. So it was like, guys, what, you know? So it's like, it wasn't until I feel like after college getting into this, I became more of myself. And it's like, yo, guys fuck with me. Like I have a personality that I feel like I can really like, not just guys, but anyone in general, but like, my personality is like bright and it attracts people. And I feel like people see that. And that's something I always felt like I was always unseen because I was never truly myself. So even if you did see me, you didn't see the real me. And now it's just like, I'm authentically living in myself. And now because of that, it's like when people see me, it's like, oh, you really see me because this is actually who I am. Like I'm not so, I'm loud.
It's like in college, you weren't even like that.
No.
You were more like, obviously when our friends came around, Nazi was a little more like reserved. Which is like the opposite. Like people, like when you see us together, you'll see more me. More like, back, Tati a little more loud.
But it was never like that.
But it's never like that. I still have the loud side to me. If you really know me, you know that I can be loud and obnoxious. But then I'm like a little like, like
and now I'm just like, hey, like, you know. So
I like to say this is my creative.
Honestly, it wasn't until junior year when we became roommates. I was outside because Ellie was, let's go to this, let's go to this. Halloween, we just laying down. Remember how Halloween was like, are you going out? Because Joey texted me, was like, well, I guess we're going out.
We always wanted to be outside.
I know.
Before outside was created.
And then here we are.
We're inside. You're kind of on the sidewalk. Yeah,
I'm on the sidewalk. You know,
you can kind of still be like,
I'm in the streets, like selectively in the streets, and probably in the streets close side, selectively.
Right. What is one thing so far that I learned that I would want to share with my 24-year-old self? I would just let her know, you know, don't care what other people think about you. Especially in the Haitian community, we worry so much about society, you know? And just like, I had such a huge community. I had church community. Not only do I have church community, there's just like other people that are just like, you know, looking from the side, and you don't want to disappoint your parents. You don't want to disappoint people that know you and really support you. But at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you, because if you don't do that, you don't allow yourself to grow and to really learn about yourself. So allowing myself to really step out of, you know, what does so and so think of me, and really be me has really allowed me to really like, okay, this is who I am. Okay, this is what I'm not comfortable with, and this is not who I am, or I actually don't like dressing like this. I'm not dressing like this because I'm not dressing modest because I'm actually like because of my religion. I actually don't like dressing like this. You know, I don't talk like this not because of my religion, but because I don't feel, you know,
you got to know your own boundaries.
I got to know my own boundaries, and I'm really happy about that. So just like I would tell my 24-year-old self and the Ellie before 24, it's just like, do you, boo? Because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be you, and you're gonna make yourself happy. So what is it that would make you feel like you achieved a successful life? When you look, you're in the future and you look back and you're like, you sit down, you get home, you pour yourself a nice glass of wine. What is it that would make you feel like, wow, Tati, you have outdone yourself?
I don't have to clock into a job. And when I say clock in, because even though salary, technically you don't clock, I'm not working for anyone else unless it's my choice. Because with my profession, I do got to at least do something to keep up. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose my skills, but it's my choice and it's not mandatory. Like my future self is like, I got my husband, I got my kids, I got my nanny, I got my mom,
I got my cousin.
right? I got my family. But it's like, okay, I have a meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. to discuss Good Luck Sis. I almost said Girlfriend's Guide podcast. So with transitioning, Good Luck Sis or Tati's testimony. It's like, I don't necessarily want to be famous. I don't want Kim Kardashian fame. I don't want none of that. But I do want a level of recognition that can provide opportunity for me to do what I genuinely want to do and have an impact on people. Because I do feel like the things that we talk about has an audience. But like we were talking about this offline yesterday, that unfortunately, we don't have the clickbait type things all the time. You know what I mean? And it's just like, because of that, sometimes you get discouraged. It's like, is this worth it? Who's listening? But I do feel like we do have a message for a lot. I feel like more people are like us than these other podcasters that are sex. No offense, because I listen to them too. And not saying you can't be multifaceted, but I do think we made this for girls like us. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot more girls like us who can't talk about this or wasn't talking about this. And we're opening the lane for that and making them feel comfortable. So in order to get to a status where we're able to reach a lot more, that's when I would be like, ooh, girl, you did it. Mm-hmm. I told you, getting invited to Essence. I'm going to keep saying it because it's going to happen.
Yes.
If we were to get invited to Essence to just be on a panel, something, I do think public speaking is something I could get into as well. So maybe that's my goal for next year, to get more into that. So that's where I feel like I'd make it.
That's great. I definitely can see it.
Yeah.
For me would be, I would want independence, like financial independence. Mm-hmm. Because with financial independence, I feel like there's so much more I can do.
Yeah.
Financial independence does not go together with my 9 to 5. So it would be more like me handling what I have to do to take care of my family, mm-hmm. whether it's like creating my own business, the podcast, mm-hmm. Just like I have the independence and not have to worry about where my next income is going to come from, but I have that control, mm-hmm. And with having financial independence, it's just like I have so much streams of income. Mm-hmm. Not only I can take care of the ones I love, like my family, but I can have service to others mm-hmm. too. Like, one thing I love to do is I love to help people. Like, if you need help with like mm-hmm. anywhere in finance, I'll be willing to like lend you money. But like sometimes when I see people having a hard time, I'm like, wow, I would love, not everybody, but I would love to be like, here's like 2K, mm-hmm. do what you gotta do. Or like I saw this girl who bought her friend a house, but she bought the friend to the house and was just like, oh, she has properties. Yeah. And she's like, oh, here's like here's one of my properties, blah, blah, blah. And then she was showing the friend, and then the friend's like, wow, this property is so nice, blah, blah, blah. And then she handed the key to her friend and it's just like, this is for you. And her friend was like bawling her eyes out. So it's just like having the opportunity to just really like mm-hmm. do things like fly out your girls, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. like take care of the bills. Yeah. Like take the whole family, take your whole friends on mm-hmm. a trip. Like mm-hmm. those are the things with like I see with financial independence and, being able to create generational wealth for my kids, like mm-hmm. having my grandchildren not have to worry about college and mm-hmm. setting them up and, being more, I also see myself in like the success would be like having more knowledge, mm-hmm. Having the knowledge of a white man out there, because mm-hmm. they're so smart with their money and the way they like run their business. Yeah. I want to have that knowledge and be in a room with them where I can just like mm-hmm. soak that up and bring it to your own people. Bring it to my own people mm-hmm. because I feel like our community needs to grow so much. And I feel like as long as we can have those financial independence, mm-hmm. we can put ourselves in these rooms with other people. I just see myself as a businesswoman. That's all. Period. I don't know how we're going to get there, but I just see... I mean, this is a business. It is. It is. But when I do see myself in it, I see like professional. Like, but I've always said that. And I said it on this episode. When I see Ellie in a nice power suit, walking in, doing a presentation. Like that's not me. That is her. Like we've had opportunities in the past or PowerPoints, and that's Ellie. That's I mean, I can do it because me and Ellie have worked on projects in college. Yeah. Us together, we can do it. But this is her. That's her domain. Yeah. And mm-hmm. I see it. So I think my prayer is seeking God to just really open my eyes. I see mm-hmm. the podcast, mm-hmm. but I see something way beyond mm-hmm. it. And I just can't put my finger on it. Mm-hmm. So my prayer to God is just like, help me figure out what is it that mm-hmm. you want to place me. What room do you want me to be in? And I know sometimes, because I pray for that too, but then sometimes I'm just kind of like, it may not be our time to see it. Exactly. So I always pray, I pray that I'm in the right direction. So keep me in, whether I see it or not, and I don't know what it is, but at least I'm in that direction. Every now and then drop some gems to, reassure me that I am on that path. And the podcast makes me feel like I'm on the right path because like, now we've done public speaking. We've like, freshman year, we like, each other, like boom, partners. Yeah, bam, bam, exactly. Bam, when we're on a team together, our English debate, You been winning.
Bye.
You've been winning. Remember the whole tattoo?
Yeah, the workplace. We got this colorism.
Period.
We got this. Yep.
So I'm hoping that, I achieve that goal that I see for myself. And that's just like where I would see myself.
You will.
Yeah.
You will.
So what is the biggest thing you learned this past years?
What is the biggest thing I've learned? I think this is a lot because we're going back 4 years.
Yeah, over the past 4 years.
I think the past 2 years, year and a half to 2 years is where I've really grown as a person. I think 27 and 28 really have.
Seems like a blur.
That's it. Oh, no, not that much for me because I just turned 28 in April. Right. So 27 was like yesterday for me. So I feel like the past year to 2 years is where I've really grown, like myself, creatively. Yeah, that's the word, creatively. But I think also my relationship with God has grown. What is the question? So I'm going to go on a tangent. Repeat it.
What is the biggest thing you learned this past year?
Yes. I've learned that God does not take his hand off me, even if I take my hand off him. Because he has helped me so much throughout my whole life, specifically these past 4 years. And it's like, I feel like now I'm really understanding what it is to be a child of God and what it is to be loved so hard that it's like, he's still blessing you no matter what. And like I said, I grew up where it's like, this is where like the Haitian stereotype didn't really fall on me. My mom believes in God, but asked me the last time. She recently started going to church here and there because my family from Haiti came. She said, okay, let's go. I'll bring you. But like really years upon years upon years. And I fall into that from time to time, honestly. But when I say this woman's going to pray, this woman's going to pray. This woman's going to put her YouTube on, listen to the prayers, the sermon. She's going to do that. And I think she taught me, it's just like, you don't have to be in a building, even though I do get something from that, but you don't have to. And it's kind of like she's kind of like the black sheep in the family in that sense. She had me out of wedlock, blah, blah, blah. Love my mom for that though. And because she never put that pressure on me. She would send me to church with my cousins and aunts, but it was never every Sunday, l'église, da 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 da. And because of that, she taught me that God is going to love you no matter if you are in church every single Sunday. And she taught me, baby, hypocrites lie in the church as well. Like you're not a bad person because you don't go. Right. Because you're not going to sit here and tell me that God doesn't love my mom and God doesn't love me and vice versa. So I think I've learned how to be his child and also accept that every relationship looks different. I think I used to be ashamed that, I didn't know the Bible, or like I don't know certain verses, or I don't go to church every Sunday, like a little shameful of that. But it's like, no, because I may not, but I'm trying and I'm learning. But the relationship I have with God, y'all can't touch it. Yeah. Like you can't. And so I think I've just learned to just trust in him, understand him, and understand that he's never going to let me down, and he has never let me down.
And it also shows that someone can start a relationship with God
any point in their life.
There's no time. Like, like God is always open to start a relationship with someone at the age of 85. Yes.
And I also think it's like, I think God is needed throughout your entire life, but not everyone has that opportunity. Things happen where you get mad. People get angry at God. Yeah. And that is okay to say. And I think just understanding, like, if you're forced into it, yes, it can lead to a genuine path. But if you're forced into it, it's most likely not going to work. You have to be able to be ready to receive that call from him. Yes. And that is when you're going to flourish the most with him. Yes. I still want to bring my kids to church when they're younger for sure. But I have my aunts and uncles. Like they'll miss family events that happen on a Sunday because it's during church. And I'm just like, I get it, but it's okay. Like he still loves you. He's still going to be there. Like you can take a Sunday off to come hang out with your family, your friends. Like, guilt. Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, yes, God is a vengeful God. Yes, I am fearful of him. Yes, but also it's like, that's my dad. Yeah. He loves me. Yes. He's going to forgive me. He's understanding. Like, it's okay. So I just feel like the whole mindset of some Haitians that they have in God is like, oh no, baby, that's not my God. My God ain't like that.
I know he asks us to fear him also,
but it's
not
like
in that sense.
exactly the same way we fear our parents. And yeah, but it's like
not to do better.
Yes.
But not fear as oh my gosh, he's gonna
exactly
cast the worst on me.
Like he understands, he's understanding, he's loving, and one thing that man is forgiving.
Amen.
So yeah.
He definitely has his grace. For me would be over the past 4 years, I have learned that if I put my mind to something, I really, really can achieve it. And I think that's one of my greatest strengths. And oftentimes I'm really hard on myself, and I learn to be very like kind to myself. So I just try my best to, once I set a goal, I push myself too much to achieve it. Yeah. But now I realize that, as long as I, pray to God and ask God for something, if it is his plan, that's what he'll do for me. And that's exactly what happens. I tell him what my goal is, and he just like leads me right to the path that I need to be. So I just learned that over the years that, just put my mind to something, work towards it, and I'm going to get there. And I think if you guys haven't listened to the first episode of Good Luck Sis, we talk about the journey to changing this name and how it took 2 years and stress. Like there's times me and Ellie be like, yo, is this going to happen? Yeah. And it's like, we wanted it so much, but we literally, God was like, relax. 2 years. 2 years. Relax. Like, is it the Israelites that had to 70 years to get to the... Hey! I couldn't even wait 2 years. You just said, take your blood.
Like, yeah. And I was just like, I think that's a perfect example of like, because we didn't stop. Because imagine if we just stopped the podcast for 2 years. Hey, we're back. Like, what was that? Like, we kept working towards it, not knowing when it was going to happen. But what can we do? Just stop? No, you keep going and trust that each step you take is going to lead you to where you need to go.
I know the plans that I have for you.
Jeremiah 29, Here we go, baby.
Period. Not us knowing our scripture.
Not one scripture I know, because my husband's name is going to be Jeremiah.
Did she said that on the previous
But I don't know if that episode, I don't know which is coming out first, but my husband's name is going to be Jeremiah.
Manifest it, baby. Manifest
it. I might meet him at Essence. Who knows?
When you look back 4 years from now, what do you hope you've achieved? I think that's just like...
So 4 years forward looking... Yeah. So what do I want to achieve in 4 years? Yeah. 32. So like, that's still young.
32 is pretty young. So like,
we
set goals.
Yeah.
We set the goals of what we wanted for 28. I think you wanted to graduate. You've achieved that. Okay. You wanted to be more creative. You achieved that. So looking forward,
32, that's still so young.
What would you want to achieve?
I would hope that I am married to the man that God has chosen to be my husband. Because I can't just say I'm married now. You got to specific. Married to the man that God has chosen to be my husband. I'm 32. If God wants a kid to be in the picture by then, I'm okay with that. That still sounds so young. So I'm just like, I want a kid. If God wants a kid to be there, I'm pregnant. If it happens, maybe even more than one kid, like, okay, I'm there. I think at 32, 4 years, that's a lot. If I still am working a 9 to 5, it's definitely per diem or by choice.
By choice, yeah.
I think definitely 4 years from now, this is going to be mainstream of income. This is going to have grown to probably more than just a podcast. I believe so. Tati's testimonies, I believe, would be like, people will know me for my poetry. Yeah. Like, for sure. People will hire me to speak as panelists and public speakers for events. Definitely, me talking is going to be my main source of income in all aspects. And I just want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I want my hair to be long and full. I want to have a nice wardrobe. And I just want everyone in my life to be happy. My family, my friends. I just want to be at peace and content. That's where I want to be 4 years from now.
I like that.
A homeowner.
Yes. For me would be, I just want that God gives me the strength, to keep going down the plans that he wants, that he has for me, and also just be successful. As I mentioned before, is that I know that he has some great plans for me. So walking towards that path and actually entering towards that successful life that he has for me. I definitely want to have kids, maybe little one. Not me saying I want to have kids. But one little one.
By then, not one forever. You can't have only one child.
At 32,
okay,
yeah,
I'm like, sis, you can't do that. You know what that's like.
One at 32, I'm happily married to the love of my life. Kizzy's in this room. And, just like my friends are, happy. My family's very happy and healthy. I just want everyone in my life to be really healthy.
Yeah.
And, I often think like how I'm not ready to lose any more people in my life. So I often think like, God, I just don't have things that are going on in the world. Like I don't have the strength to lose a friend, to lose a family member. Like, I just don't have it. So just like God to just cover everybody in my life and I want to be happy. Like 32 hits, I'm happy. Life has been good.
Yes. One thing I'll say for both of us too, I hope with this podcast and our individual goals that like as I just said, God sometimes doesn't show you until you're ready to know exactly. I hope by that time God feels we are ready to see like you, this is it, like you're living in it, like this is it. Because sometimes it's hard. Like for the longest time I was just like, God, like what am I supposed to do with my life? This is not it.
But this is the question I often have. Like, God, I know it's not his time. I know he's taking his time with me, but whatever it is, God, prepare me for that.
Yes.
Prepare that I receive it. I feel like God knows maybe I'm not ready right now to receive it. So I'm just like, I know your timing is the right timing. So I am ready. Prepare me for it. Put me down the right path so that when it does come my way, when the opportunity does come, that I am ready to receive it. And I just want to glorify his name in all things that I do. I want people to, if there's a listener that listens to one episode and I just like mention him and that person is able to have a relationship with God, I feel like that is like a blessing.
And I'm going to challenge our listeners too. And we've had this in the past for sure, but it's like validation is not needed, but sometimes when you feel like you're walking your path with God and you're doing what he wants to, but you're not sure yet, like we're saying, we don't know like what it is exactly, but we know we're on the line. If what we're saying connects to you, even if it just made you laugh, but if it really connected, like, oh, this episode really helped me, this episode, let us know, because that is the confirmation. That is God using you to let us know, like, all right, girls, like, yes, like you're talking about this episode, you want to know, here's a sign, because we take things like that. So like this is why we do it. Like the feedback, like, oh, we love this, or this helped me through a tough time. Like we want that.
You guys don't bother us.
So you literally.
I love when I see DMs come in about an episode, like, oh my goodness, like I have this issue too. Or I went on this date.
Yeah.
It's like, we laugh like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We feel like there's people that have reached out to us that we've never met before. But I feel like I know them.
I know. Or it's like people that like, I feel like too, like, people we've gone to college with that we weren't really close to, but it was cool. But it's like now it's like, girl, this, girl, that, because it's like you know us through the podcast, but because you know us through the podcast, I feel like I know you too. Yes. Because it's like if you're listening and you're relating, there's a part of us in you. So it's like I know you to a certain extent. So definitely like reach out to us. Let us know how you feel about the new change, the good luck sis. Like how do you feel about the content we've been putting out so far? Do you relate to it? All of that really helps and kind of solidifies that we're on the right track doing what we're meant to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to wrap up. So our Melon Monday today is going to be Tati's testimony.
Oh, that's me! That's me!
She's so shocked.
I know! I'm a winner!
So for those who don't know, who are listeners for the first time, Tati, why don't you tell them what is Tati's testimonies and where they can find Tati's testimonies?
So my name is Tati J. And Tati J, I guess, is not the alter ego, but my other name that I use for podcast writing. And Tati's Testimonies is a page I started 2.5 years ago, I think. And it talks about mental health, self-love, and poetry. So my artistic journey through that, I started that page. And you can see my poetry through there. You can see mental health topics through there. And a little bit of lifestyle, but self-love. Just seeing me growing into loving and becoming this confident me that I talked about earlier in the episode. And I really hope that you guys, like I said, I do get very vulnerable on there. Especially on my highlights throughout the years. I have like Tati's Therapy Tuesdays, right? Where it's just like deep conversations that I feel like a lot of people go through. When I was going through like my depressive state a couple of months ago, I literally put on it, like, guys, I'm going through it. Like, I need help. Like, help me. And a lot of people reached out, and I feel like that's the community that I want to create. Like, it's okay that you're going through this. Don't be ashamed. And not everyone is vulnerable enough to share that, which is fine. But I always say, I feel like part of my purpose and passion is to like, I always say I want to be paid for being me. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if other people can't be vulnerable, let me be that for you. Let me show you that it's normal. So that's what Tati's testimony. So Tati's THATIS_testimonies, and go ahead and follow.
Go follow. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Good Luck Sis. Make sure that you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys follow Tati's Testimonies. Make sure you guys comment, like, and don't forget to reach out to us in our DMs. Yes. And we want to say good luck, sis, to all our followers, and good luck, bro, too.
Yeah, good luck to y'all. Because, you know, we went from Girlfriend's Guide podcast
yes.
to good, but you already know we love the men here too. Yes. So it's like, you're not good a luck, sis, but you too.
Good luck, bro.
Yes.
On your next like goals and your
journey,
future, and hope that you guys take the time to reflect back on all your achievements, just like we did today.
Yes.
We'll see you guys on our next episode.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.